You didn't build a coaching or service-based business to spend your days talking people off a ledge. But at some point, that's kind of what it became. You spend your days talking to the client who feels like it's not working, the one who's frustrated even though they're obviously getting results, the one who compares themselves to someone else in your program and then just decides that they're behind. Every single one of those conversations costs time and attention and energy that you should be putting elsewhere. And if you're honest about it, the same conversations keep happening over and over and over again. So if you're the founder of a coaching or service-based business who spends more time managing how a client feels instead of delivering them actual results, this video is going to show you exactly why that keeps happening and what to do about it. So very simply put, most people believe the job of a program is to deliver what was promised. And that belief is mostly correct, but it's missing a key part that determines whether that result lands in a way that makes the client less of a burden on you, not more. Because the fact is, results without emotional context almost always land wrong. The client who gets results but feels completely unseen the whole time doesn't upsell into the next offer. The client who gets results but doesn't ever feel like they really belong in a community doesn't refer anybody else in. The client who gets results but spent the first 2 months completely in doubt and didn't know what they were doing doesn't give you a great testimonial. So in all these instances, the result happened, but the emotional experience around the result was never designed. So the result didn't produce what it should have. I'm working with a marketing agency right now where the client success team is genuinely really good at their job. They care about the clients, they work really hard, and they told me in our first conversation together that they actually spend most of their day managing how clients feel. And the thing is, none of these emotional fires were random. Every single one traced back to a moment or an implication or an expectation that was not properly designed. A client who felt unseen because nobody built acknowledgement into the system. A client who felt lost because nobody built an onboarding process to make sure that they knew exactly what to do and how it was going to feel when they were doing it. A client who feels like things weren't working because nobody told them what normal progress looks like. These were all predictable fires, and predictable fires can be prevented. So here's the distinction you need to make. Delivering is doing what you promised. The calls, the resources, the coaching, the curriculum. Designing the delivery is intentionally creating the emotional experience around the delivery so clients will feel the result in the way that you intended them to. Some offers, not most, do the first one, but almost none do the second one. And here's why the second one matters more than most founders realize. A client's decision to stay, to refer, to buy again almost never happens at the end of an offer when the results are objectively looking the greatest. It's made in the very first few weeks when the emotional experience of being in your offer either builds trust or erodes it. And before the actual results arrive in those first couple of weeks, the only thing the client has to evaluate their belief in you is how the experience feels to them. And if nobody designs how it feels, the client is just going to design it themselves with whatever fears and doubts and comparisons that they brought in with them. So here's the most practical thing that you can do for this right now. Run an emotional audit on the last 30 days of your business. Write down every single emotional conversation that you or one of your team members had with a client. And for each of these conversations, ask yourself one question. What would have had to be true in the client's experience in the weeks before this conversation happened to have prevented it happening in the first place? And when you run this exercise, you'll find probably the same 3 or 4 moments missing across every single conversation. And that is what you focus on building into every single client's journey. And at the end of the day, the fires will stop because the moments that would have prevented them finally exist as you scale your offer. So if you want help figuring out exactly where your client journey is missing those design moments and what it is costing you, comment the letters CSD below to get more information on bringing my team into your business to help make twice as much money by working with half as many clients.